time, I'd like to call our meeting to order. And first of all, I would like for us all to observe a moment of silence for Ms. Timietta Nelson, the C.J. Hicks teacher who passed away this past week. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Salem High School for our inspiration.
Good evening, Superintendent and board members all. I'm Darnell Ham with Salem High School, ROTC. And tonight, I would like to offer a few kind words of inspiration with a poem entitled Don't Quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about when he may have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow, because you may succeed with another blow. And success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can know how close you are. You may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Thank you.
This time, I'd like us all to stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is to adopt the agenda. Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? So moved. Second. I have a motion by Mr. McBrayer, second by Mr. Smith to adopt the agenda. All those in favor, raise your hand. 5, 4, none opposed. Ms. Young is at a event with her daughter this evening, and Ms. Yance had to run her business tonight. Next item is a school presentation, and I call on Dr. Sherrod Williford, the principal of C.J. Hicks.
Greetings, Superintendent Autry, Chairman Barksdale, members of the board. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to update you on C.J. Hicks' journey to becoming an international baccalaureate school. Believe it or not, it's been about 2.5 years since we first started the journey, but I'm pleased to report that full authorization is near. Over the past 2.5 years, we've worked steadfastly to develop and design the primary years program for C.J. Hicks, affixed to the International Baccalaureate's 6 transdisciplinary themes. Over 90% of our staff have been trained in the precepts and principles of IB, as our students are receiving integrated, inquiry-based instruction on a daily basis. Additionally, our students are involved in various stretch learning opportunities focused on exposure to various global issues and service. Lastly, but certainly not least, we continue to set the bar and defy the norm in terms of achievement for schools with demographics like ours. But our goals are bigger. Our goal is to continue to influence and shape the broader school community by producing students who become contributing, participatory members of a global society. One way that we are achieving this objective is through our world languages and global studies class. By providing this course, we're able to meet one of the requirements for becoming an IB school, which is to offer students instruction in a language other than that of their mother tongue. We have had to develop a language policy for our school, which will be submitted to the IBO as a condition of our authorization. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Frau Dr. Tatiana Brumlow to speak to you about our world languages and global studies class.
Dankeschön.
Thank you.
Guten Abend. Good evening. My name is Tatiana Brumlow, but I'm better known as Frau Dr. Brumlow by staff and children at CJ Hicks. And I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to update you on the status of our world languages and global studies through German class. And if you hear a little bit of an accent, I'm from Russia, not from Germany. So that's where the accent comes from. We are very proud of our program. So we prepared a PowerPoint, but also I would like to share with you a packet. It includes several pages, and Dr. Wilford is going to help me. The first 4 pages, I compiled information for you why it's important to know foreign languages. You probably know most of these reasons. Why it's important to know foreign languages at an early age, and also why German is a good language to know. Then there are a couple of pages where my students express their opinion why it's important to know foreign language, and I have not discussed that with them yet. Those were 5th graders. I also have been exposing them to the national standards for foreign language learning, and there's a couple of pages where my students fill that paper out, and we will see their creative approach to the 5 C's, as they're called: communication, cultures, connections, comparisons, and communities. And the last page will be a sample also of student work where we discuss where we are in the world. So just a brief overview of that. The background of our program, it was launched in August 2011, and it was a requirement by the IB program. That's the start date. And the requirement of the IB program, the primary year program, says that students must be exposed to language B in addition to language A. Language A is considered the mother tongue. The choice for language in our school is German, and we were guided by several factors when we chose German. The first one is language is German B to all of our students, including the 8% of our Hispanic students and other ESL students. Also, there are very good reasons why German is a good language to know, and that's compiled in your packet. There will be also a slide that we can briefly look at. And lastly, we had a certified world language teacher, which is me, and I don't mean to brag on myself, but I had, before I came to CJ Hicks, I had taught German at an elementary school in a very good program in DeKalb County for 12 years. So I have a wealth of resources and materials and lesson plans, and my research has been in developing and supporting foreign language programs at the elementary level. The next slide is actually all benefits of knowing German. German is among 10 most commonly spoken languages, in the world, and more people in the European community speak German than any other language. So that's it goes against the myth that German is a dead language. I just wanted everybody to know it's alive and good. Germany is one of the 3 leading export nations in the world. More than 1,100 companies in German-speaking countries have subsidiaries in the United States, and there are about 750 US companies in the German-speaking countries. We also have now what's known as the Georgia International Workforce Initiative. That's a special program that is being funded by our government here in Georgia, and that's where German businesses have come together to help our educational system to develop programs K through 12 in German, so that our students have more opportunities at global careers. Also, reading knowledge of German is available in many subjects. I've listed them there: chemistry, physics, biology, engineering, psychology, theology, international archaeology, and history, because Germans have made a lot of contributions in those areas. And many colleges and universities strongly recommend that students study German. And the last reason, which is also very important, it's not actually the last reason in the world, but I think it's interesting to know that German is most closely related to English. Some people don't know it, but English and German are both Germanic languages. So the nature and structure of both languages is very similar. And that busts another myth that German is very difficult to learn for a person who speaks English. Now the next slide is, it introduces you to the existing models of foreign language teaching in this country. The first model is immersion, and that's where the target language is taught either the whole day or part of the day. And the subjects are taught through this, regular curriculum subjects are taught through the language. And of course, high levels of proficiency, language proficiency result, maybe in a couple of years. Then the next model is sequential class, which is the target language and culture are taught 3 to 5 times a week. And that's what they call systematic and sequential. And all language skills are developed, listening, speaking, writing, and reading. And the instruction is content related. That means teachers try to support the regular curriculum as much as they can, even though they don't teach through that language. And the last model is FLEX, which is foreign language exploratory, where the target language and culture are explored once or twice a week, with few language skills expected to be mastered, and the stress is really on cultural awareness and very little emphasis on literacy skills such as reading and writing. Well, the program at C.J. Hicks is unique because it's a hybrid between the sequential FLEX and FLEX models, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And also, we are unique because we have an additional goal of making our students aware of the whole world and not just the German-speaking countries and culture. The characteristics of the FLEX model, we only have one really. Students are exposed to the language and culture once a week in our school, and it's only 35 minutes. So you see that it's not a lot of time, it's limited time. However, what makes our program very strong is that it has a lot of sequential FLEX characteristics. The instruction is systematic and sequential. We are well articulated horizontally and vertically, K through 5, starting K, ending in grade 5, and skills are being added and built upon. Then all 4 languages are taught. I focus on literacy skills already in kindergarten, so my students are learning now really how to read and write in German in the 1st grade. And the instruction is content related, so when I plan, I support the regular curriculum things and standards. And the levels of proficiency that we expect would be at the novice level, novice high, and with some students it could even go as high as intermediate low, which is good considering the time that we have. The global studies characteristic is that we want to make our students internationally minded. That's part of IB goals. So we look at world geography, political divisions, we examine history, global issues such as environment, resources, hunger. That's our theme now throughout the school year, and how we can become less wasteful here in our world building and community. Other languages and cultures are examined, and we have foreign language club, or we call it World Language Club, that was also started last year, and there we've already studied a variety of cultures and languages, and students really want to participate. That long waiting line, I wish I could just offer it more. And through this club, we applied for a grant with Rockdale Foundation for Excellence in Education, and we received that grant where we ordered a whole set of DVDs. Each DVD shows off a country, and we pick the countries that are relevant to our regular curriculum. So we use that in our club, and also regular classroom teachers can now have access to that. The curriculum, when we make lesson plans, prepare the materials, it's based on National World Language Standards. There you see the 5 C's that I talked about earlier: communication, culture, connections, comparisons, and communities, and you'll see how my students illustrated that. Also, I go by Georgia standards for K through 5 modern languages. They're, of course, on the Georgia Department of Education website. Also, of course, we go by Common Core GPS and IB themes and concepts. All of that is included as we plan. And the methodology, we, of course, are aware that we are teaching a young learner, and it's age appropriate, and we try to make the activities meaningful to them. And some of the things that we do are songs, rhymes, storytelling, games, movement, total physical response is very popular with the little kids. Visuals, we bring a lot of realia items. We do a lot of hands-on activities, use technology, thanks to Ms. Price, and many more. This slide, I'm going to just skip for just a second. That's me, and it looks like I'm raising my arms, but I'm actually teaching seasons to my first graders here, but I'll go to the last slide before I do this one, and that's the community response. I just want you to let you know that the community response is very positive. Our students, they look forward to language classes. They're hungry to learn about different cultures and peoples and languages. They ask me questions all the time. So my parking lot with questions is full, and they ask such good questions. So they're really being inquirers. And what I'm noticing now, they've become more self-aware. They're ready to raise their hand and share, well, this is where I'm from. This is the language that we speak in my family. This is our culture. And another thing that I'm noticing is that they're proud to be bilingual or trilingual with many of our students. So that's my favorite part with my students, of course. Then my staff is very supportive also. The administrators who are here tonight. Many staff members we discovered have knowledge of German, and so they support me there. And we have other staff members that are learning how to speak German, and I like it when my students can teach them too. So I create opportunities for them. Then also the parents are very, very supportive. They give me compliments and just the whole program. And I credit my children for doing so well. I say, well, that means that they were listening and participating. And also they have volunteered to come and talk to us about Germany or German-speaking countries, because we have a lot of families who have been stationed there or lived there, and they want to come and share. Another thing I wanted to let you know is last year my World Language Club students, they went with me to the flag contest, which is a Georgia spoken foreign language contest, and they received all superior markings. And the wider community, everywhere I go, in Kanyas, in the counties, I was in Germany this summer, I was in Cyprus this summer, and I bragged everywhere about our program, and everybody was like, wow, we're really happy that you have a program there at the elementary level, and I'm just proud that it exists, because right now, you know, that many programs have been cut, and I always wanted Rockdale County to be the leader in that, and I wanted to teach here for a long time, but I was with DeKalb, and I'm so proud now that we have so much going on in Rockdale County. And the professional language community, the many conferences that I went to, they were very supportive. I'm building now a network where I work with other professionals like me. And overall, the language program, I would say, has just become a part of C.J. Hicks. We cannot even imagine C.J. Hicks anymore without a foreign language program. And it's just wonderful to expose our children to a foreign language. And we tell them every day how unique they are, and we want this for more schools. So if you need our help or assistance, we're here to help. And I want to thank you all for giving us attention. And I need to go somehow back to that slide where I was teaching German. And I think maybe I can just go like this. Yes. And let's see if I can. Oops. I haven't worked with this mouse before, so there we go. And I'm not sure if it'll work today or not, because it's supposed to give us the play button, but it's not doing it for some reason on this screen. Yes, it's in this classroom. I was teaching seasons, and you see the 4 seasons displayed in the background, and these are my first graders. So they're also covering the same theme in their regular classroom, and the teachers have shared with me that that was a challenging area for them. So we were supporting that, and we are doing it through movement, visuals, words. The next day, they were actually writing sentences about seasons and weather. And I wish you could see it, but they were having a lot of fun, and they're speaking in German the whole time there. Those that started in kindergarten, I can just really see it, because the older they get, the shyer they get, so the earlier we catch them, the better. But this is basically the gist of my presentation, and my students did make you little German flags, so that you keep them in mind and keep supporting them. So, thank you very much. Dankeschön. Dankeschön. And the German word for you're welcome is
Thank you very much, and thank y'all for the hard work y'all have done for the last few years, because one of the great thrills I have to mention what we're doing with C.J. Hicks and International Baccalaureate when I'm in meetings with other school systems, that know that we're doing this. The next item on the agenda is certificates and awards. Ms. Ball.
At this time, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Superintendent, if you'll join me up front for our recognitions. And I talk a little bit louder, so I'm going to back away from the mic here so I don't send y'all through the roof in the room when I speak. And we do have several students who couldn't be here with us tonight, so I'm going to skip right on into a very large group from Rockdale Magnet School for Science and Technology, our AP Scholars. And students, if you will, when I call your name, if you'll just come up front, and when you do come up front, just stay up front and we'll get a group picture at the end. The Advanced Placement Program, or AP program, offers several AP Scholar Awards to recognize high school students who have demonstrated college-level achievement through AP courses and exams. In addition to receiving an award certificate, this achievement is acknowledged on any AP score report that is sent to colleges. The AP Scholar Award is granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. The AP Scholar with Honor Award is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. The AP Scholar with Distinction Award is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. I see you following that, Mom. We would like to recognize the following AP Scholars from the Magnet School for Science and Technology. And again, I know everybody in this room can appreciate that all of our Magnet students are very busy. In fact, we have Mom here in place of a student who is studying. So we appreciate, all of the parent support, and I know your children do as well. With that, I will begin naming our AP Scholars. Aaron Barron, Michael Bonner, Sonam Brambad, Indy Brown, Lori Brown, I know Lori, you're here. Aaliyah Bird, Brianna Coles, Catherine Cox, Ray Garner, Christian Gerner, Javon Inerarity, Jacob Jarrell, Jasmine Johnson, Nia Jordan, Ansley Kaiser, Sama Khan, Bethany Mays, Anna Miller, Sheldon Neal, Sheldon, I know you're here, Leslie Kaiser. I went too fast.
Too fast, Ms. Ball.
Ho Nguyen, Carson Norwood, Rolanda Pruitt, Jeremy Rachels, Michael Smith, I promise I won't wait when you go by. Lauren Smith. And Michael and Sheldon, if you guys want to go ahead and go on up a step, that way we'll have a little more room up front here. Dominique Steele, Kenise Thompson, and Aaliyah Walker. This rounds out our AP Scholar group. Sure, absolutely. Anybody who would like, come on up behind me. Okay, if I'm gonna get, if I will get you to come back up, go up to the next level, be careful going up. And Lori, if you'll go up to the next level, and, let's see, if you'll go up to the next level. And Lori and Catherine, go on up one more. There we go. And Rolanda, if you'll go up one more. Come on down. All right, everybody kind of squish in a little bit here. Mr. Superintendent on the end. Chairman, did I do that okay? All right. And you have to hold it from my camera. Big smiles. Well, there's a line behind you. Duck and crawl.
You don't want to smile. There he goes. Got him. Don't make me smile.
Okay, let me jump in. All right, on three, big smiles. Let me step on
Smiles.
There you go. 1, 2, and one more. All right.
1, 2, 12.
Ready, good? Yes? Congratulations. Okay, our next group is our AP Scholar with Honors. AP Scholars with Honors. We have Ashley Driver, Lindsay Theodore, Gabrielle Vila, Zachary York, Philip Anschutz, and we have Brandon Culver, whose mom is here in his place, but I told her I would not make her get up.
Thank you.
So we will just give her his certificate.
Come on.
You,
I'll hand hers now, Ms. Ball.
very good.
Thank you. And congratulations for all the work.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And Hyun Kim, who also not only was an AP Scholar with distinction, but a national AP scholar as well. Paul Kim, Brian Mann, Jason Mitchell, Brian Silva, and Paul Yates. Congratulations, this is our AP Scholar with distinction. Yes, we'll just slide this way just a little bit and kind of group them. Here, I'll do the photo. I got my nails on. Congratulations.
That concludes our awards. This time we'll take a recess to congratulate everyone. This time I'll call the meeting back to order. This is the time we allow citizens 3 minutes to address the board. Please feel free to submit any documents to the board. We do not normally address your concerns tonight, but we ask the administration to address your concerns and provide you an appropriate response. If your topic involves a personnel matter or you contend that your legal rights have been violated, we have specific grievance procedures for these matters. We respectfully ask that you refrain from making personal attacks or rude or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous. Thank you. The first person to speak is Stephanie Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Superintendent, members of the board, good evening. My name is Stephanie Moore, and I'm the immediate past president of the Rockdale PTA Council, as well as currently the parliamentarian. I have been serving in Rockdale County in a volunteer position for about 10 years now, and have enjoyed it. I think I'm probably a poster child for getting parents to come out and volunteer for our great county, of which I am so excited about. I have 3 children that have gone through the Rockdale school system, and for sure I'm an advocate. I'd like to tell you a story. Those that know me know I'm an author. So with volunteering, I want to talk about why my heart is there. With PTA, it's one child, one voice, and again, I'm always on the positive side of things, so that's where I love to stay. Because I think together, parents doing their part, you guys doing all you do, we can certainly continue to make this an excellent place of learning for our children. With volunteering, because I have a heart, I want to share with you when I was the PTA president at Flat Shoals Elementary, there was a young man in the foster care system. We had implemented a mentor program, and he was a sweet little kid that did not have parents. Because it broke my heart what was going on with him, not being able to learn, I turned to my husband. We adopted this young man, and he's now a senior at Heritage High School with some football scholarship possibilities. So I'm very excited about what we together can do to change the kids that have no hope. I am here today because I've been trying to get new parents to come and join our 3 high schools in terms of PTA and volunteering. We got all our 3 high schools up and running. Folks mobilized, excited to run. All this great stuff. I had a parent that challenged me and said, you're always saying come and do stuff, but there's a little bit of disappointment that I have in the school system right now because my child doesn't have a textbook. Our superintendent and I were on board with this now. I did want to address the board because parents have held me accountable because I'm always telling them to serve, and they say I never represent them when they have challenges. Well, I also have a 9th grader. My son, as I mentioned, is a senior. We're now 4 years in the high school, and there's 2 different sets of math curriculum that we've gone through. The math one, we know was a challenge, but there was at least textbooks we could take the curriculum through. I just wanted to address the board to say that I'm excited to work with our superintendent and any school leaders so that we can come up with a plan that works with the children, because I think the way we're trying to implement the new math is not working at this time with no textbooks. And so I wanted to go on record and saying I'm a little disappointed in that, but I am excited to stand in the gap in between and see how we can really make sure our kids learn. So that when we get back to numbers, all the great efforts that you guys want, we have no disconnect with our children reaching those goals. So I thank you for hearing me, and I do appreciate all that you guys are doing for our kids. We just don't want you to have to do it alone. We want to be parents that stand with you to make sure our kids succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robert Carter.
How are you guys doing, Chairman, Barksdale, and Superintendent Autry? I am Robert Carter. I'm the president of Heritage High PTA. I'm standing here today as a representative for all PTAs here in Rockdale County. Just to echo off of what Ms. Stephanie Moore has just said, and working with Mr. Autry and getting this done, my principal, and I just wanted to know and get it on record why we instituted a new curriculum, why we did not have a book, which we understand now, why the kids did not have proper materials to study, because we're getting a lot of reports now, as I'm going through, about how much struggle these kids are going through trying to keep up with the math curriculum, which is part of it now. And they didn't have the ability to take anything home to study. And as we all know with math, you have to study it every day, otherwise you're behind. So again, after talking to Superintendent Autry and my principal, we are on track. But I just want to make sure they know that my job here as a PTA president is to take care of my parents, my teachers, and my students. And with concerns, I just thought it was important that we came here to make sure you guys understood that there were some concerns, and we wanted to make sure they were addressed. And thank you for your time, and I hope we can work together again.
Thank you. Marlene Scott.
Good evening. 3 minutes is very, very quick. So I'm going to just say thanks very much to all the board members, to Superintendent Autry, for having me here and listening to me. I have a grandson who is in the 9th grade at Heritage High School. I also had a grandson who graduated from Heritage High School class of 2011. He is now at Georgia State, and he has a 3.7 GPA and made the Dean's List freshman year. So we do have, as we recognize, some very bright children. The young man I have in the 9th grade now is also a very, very bright child. Has missed 1 day of school in 10 years. He has no math book. So when he comes to my house and he's doing his homework, and I say, sweetie, let's see the book. What does it say in the book? Where's the example? There is no example because there is no book. So we must go online, and we've been given several websites. He hurt his finger, and the doctor at the hospital gave him a website, which turned out to help him somewhat. But I just would like to know, and maybe someone on the board can tell me where I can find a book. My grandson has a goal of straight A's. If we don't give him the tools, he's not going to reach his goal. So I'd like somebody to tell me, is there a book? If there's a book, I'd like to buy it. I heard the C.J. Hicks group talk about a Rockdale grant and the DVDs they could buy and things like that. Can we not do those things? And if it is not available for everyone, why is it not? But let's talk about my little fellow. I'd like him to have a book. I'd like to have some reference material. I'd like him to have the same quality of education that his brother had at Heritage. And he is there, and I'd like to see the same. I'd like him to have a 3.7 GPA. It saves us a lot of money. Okay, so that's just what I'd like to go on record asking. He also doesn't have a seat. He has no desk. He sits on a sofa, and he writes on like a folding table. We can live with that, but I don't think we're going to do very well without the book. So So if somebody, if I can leave my email address with someone and you can tell me what book I should buy or what 10 books I should buy, it's okay with me. Thank you very much for listening to me. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I can comment quickly. I want to thank the concerns expressed tonight, and we certainly, as I've talked with many of the speakers tonight, we're certainly looking at all options and availability of resources, and I plan personally to communicate with this group. We've already begun to set up some information sessions and some meetings with those parents, so we are moving forward with addressing those concerns and setting up meetings. Again, I want to also comment too, Mr. Carter made mention that he certainly is an advocate for students, teachers, and parents, all parents in the community, and I consider myself the chief advocate. That is, your children's success is our success, and so I do believe we have the same goal. It's just a matter of us coming together to make sure we have common mind of how to make that happen. So, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Cabinet Reports. Mr. Alford. Superintendent's Cabinet updates will consist of Mr. Lee Davis, Financial Services. Mr. Davis.
Good evening, Mr. Autry, Chairman Barksdale, members of the board. The Office of Financial Services has 2 reports for you tonight. The first one is the final monthly financial report. We did present the preliminary last week, and it's basically the same thing. The only thing on the balance sheet is we did see the reduction in cash and the corresponding reduction in the payables. And then on the revenue and expense, again, these numbers are basically the exact same as the preliminary. Are there any questions about the general fund financial? The SPLOST is the new financial report. If we'll look at that, please, Cindy. If you can scroll, just thank you. If you'll scroll, there you go. Thank you, Cindy. Right there, actually, we can read that number for a change. You can see for SPLOST 2, we are coming to about the completion of all the SPLOST 2 projects. We're down to $1,765,000. And if we scroll to the next sheet, you can see that, again, that's the revenue that we received for SPLOST 2. It was completed in March of 2008, and that one had the nice thing of we collected it prior to the projected completion date, back when we had a robust economy. And then if we move into SPLOST 3, we can see right there, thank you, where the cursor is, that's the $30,376,000. If you add the SPLOST 3 and 2, we have a total of $32,142,000. Again, these funds can only be used for capital expenditures or retirement debt. We are debt-free. So for our buildings and capital projects, that's what those dollars are for. And then if we'll scroll just a little further down, a little to the left, please. Thank you. You can see our total revenue to date is $60,457,000, which is the 4th column right there. Thank you. And that is 74.35% of the projection. We do foresee that, or we do anticipate that we'll be able to complete all the SPLOST projects, even though we've received less money. We did get some state capital dollars that have helped augment that. So again, we plan on being able to complete all the projects, but Rockdale, like everyone in the state, has been running very far behind on their SPLOST collections due to the recession over the last few years. And this is our normal SPLOST 2 and 3 report. Are there any questions on it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I would like to thank all of Cabinet for their thorough reports at last week's work session. I do have one brief comment to summarize. You heard me mention last week about the vision for the future of Rockdale County Public Schools with expanded options for our students and families. advanced opportunities. I think tonight